This is KGW News at 5.
Conflict between political leaders and gangs in Haiti continues to leave the capital, Port-au-Prince, in an ongoing state of violence. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm John Adams. Sydney Dorner sat down with Haitians here in Portland to better understand the core reasoning behind this unrest. Sydney.
John, today I spoke with 3 Haitians born and raised on the Caribbean island. They say the dead bodies in the street, kidnappings, and all the other ugly snapshots you are seeing from Port-au-Prince are just the tail end of the country's long fight for stability. Much of what we see about Haiti is focused on the recent gang violence set off by changes in government. Marie-Pierre Paul, who grew up on the island, says this is a stark difference from what she experienced as a young girl.
We go in the street to study. That's what it was until like 11 o'clock, we go home. But now they tell me about like 4 or 5 o'clock, you have to be home. If you don't get home, you can get killed in the street.
But let's take a step back to 3 years ago when President Jovenel Moïse was assassinated. Prime Minister Ariel Henry took over without an election. Fast forward to now, he's agreed to resign, but only with a transitional council in place.
There's no government, nobody to stop them. They can do whatever they want to. If you refuse, you're gonna lose your life.
The UN reports over 30,000 people have fled the capital in just the past few weeks. They say most were already forced out of their homes by gangs and living in camps or with family.
One of my cousins died last year. She got kidnapped. She was only like 31.
Mario Boulier has lived in Portland for over 40 years and a proud Haitian native. He says Haitian police have no chance against gangs carrying bigger and more advanced weaponry. Countries like Kenya, Benin, Chad, Jamaica, Barbados, and even the United States have offered to help the struggling police force gain control.
I think President Biden election coming in, they don't want to send a U.S. police down there. If one of them die down there, that's going to make him look bad.
The continued violence is sinking half of the population, nearly 5 million people, into acute food insecurity, according to the UN. With a young population, many Haitians are crossing the border into Dominican Republic for food or work.
If nothing come in, the people in Port-au-Prince, they don't have anything to eat.
Right now, Kenya is leading the effort to restabilize Haiti, backed by the UN. But some Haitians are skeptical other countries can halt an internal battle.
But the international community is not going to be the one who's fix your problems. It's them that they need to get together, fix their problem, and then life goes on.
Sydney Dorner, KGW News.
All right, let's talk weather for just a minute. We've seen some on and off showers throughout the Portland area today. Some of those pretty light, thankfully. Joe Ranieri joining us now. Joe, what can we expect to see going forward here?
We're going to be it's a typical spring break forecast for Oregonians heading into next week, and that includes parts of tomorrow. But John, tomorrow is going to be more dry than wet. Yeah, we're going to be seeing a few showers roll through, but for the most part, most of the rainfall amounts will be falling throughout the morning hours, and it's not going to be that much. And this is that upper level low that's bringing in some of those scattered showers, some sun breaks, and there's also a chance to see some thunderstorms develop overnight tonight throughout parts of the metro area as well. But right now, we're looking at some very mild conditions along the central Oregon coast. A little bit of the blue skies, I was telling you about that. Temperatures in the upper 50s right now with a light southwesterly flow coming in about 8 miles an hour. The bricks in downtown Portland are pretty dry right now. We've seen just about 1/10 of an inch of rain since midnight. 56 degrees is the temperature right now. And as we look at the weather headlines, some showers and thunderstorms possible tonight, even along parts of the Oregon coast. A few showers tomorrow, but again, a wet spring break ahead. If you're staying close, yeah, you're going to be looking at some cool conditions, but again, manageable. We're not going to be seeing any major hiccup with our weather. It's just going to be kind of a cool and wet weather pattern over the next few days. Right now, we're seeing temperatures up and down the I-5 corridor in the low to the mid-50s. The more north you go, it's going to be a little bit warmer. Coming up, my detailed forecast, I'll talk more about what we can expect to see throughout the Oregon Cascades for spring break.
All right, Joe, we'll see you later in the show. Thank you. Well, an early morning crash in South Salem leaves one person dead and 2 others in the hospital. Police say it happened around 1:30 at the intersection of Kubler Boulevard and Liberty Road South. Investigators say an eastbound SUV didn't stop at a red light, hitting a northbound SUV on Liberty. The driver of the eastbound car, 33-year-old Joshua Guerra, was found dead at the scene. The 2 who were in the northbound car are expected to survive. The investigation continues. And police in Vancouver continue to investigate a fight that resulted in guns being drawn. Officers were called to the Vancouver Mall around 8 last night. They were told that a group of teens were fighting there. When a parent stepped in, another parent pointed a firearm and threatened him. By the time police got there, the suspect had left the mall. Well, a sewage leak leads to a blocked off ramp in North Portland. Now the Bureau of Environmental Services is asking that you stay out of the water of the Columbia Slough. The city says a pressurized pipe ruptured under North Columbia Boulevard, and as of last night, the sewage is contained, but there's still a leak going on. While engineers assess whether there is any damage to the overpass, the road is closed between North Rivergate and Burgard. However, there is good news for customers in that area.
Service continues. There is no interruption. People can continue to put things down the sink and to flush their toilets in that service area, which is largely industrial. And so we are continuing service while we are making repairs.
Officials say the overpass will reopen as soon as it is deemed safe by engineers. It will likely take up to 2 weeks to repair that pipe. Well, new at 5 tonight, thanks to a prestigious grant, a University of Oregon doctoral candidate will get to expand her research on what some are calling recovery high schools. They help teens fighting drug abuse and addiction get back on their feet. Deidre Johnson looks into how the new research could be a game changer in helping teens fight addiction.
An estimated 17,000 Oregon youth struggle with substance use disorders, and 9 out of 10 don't receive treatment. A new research grant may help a local Oregon doctoral candidate figure out how to help them the most.
My research primarily focuses on adolescent mental health and substance use, particularly around evidence synthesis and looking at how programs work.
Recent studies followed hundreds of adolescents after treatment. Those students went to a recovery high school or back to traditional schools.
We know that there is a positive effect of recovery high schools. Adolescents who attend recovery high schools have a higher probability of being in recovery 6 and 12 months later.
The recovery high schools provide education and recovery support to students. The schools also help those that relapse.
If they do end up using substances, it's to a much less frequent amount.
Lauren Burney received a 2-year grant from the National Institute on Drug Abuse worth over $86,000 to expand the research and learn what makes the schools so successful.
Primarily, what I hypothesize is that idea of pro-recovery peer affiliation. So being able to have social connectedness and feeling like belongingness and that you can relate to students around you.
Lauren says this type of research could be a turning point in helping kids that struggle.
It's really important to invest in continuing care for adolescents in recovery. So having these ideas about, okay, well, what's working at recovery high school? So if we're not able to have a recovery high school yet, how can we maybe implement some components that are driving these effects?
Well, Lauren says Oregon recently put money in the budget to develop 4 to 6 recovery high schools. She hopes her research will help others understand how recovery high schools not only help students, but put them on the right path for their future. Well, cat lovers from across the area came together today to celebrate our feline friends. Cat Stravaganza took place at the Portland Expo Center for the 3rd time. There were cat-themed vendors and an international all-breed show. Visitors were also able to learn about the history of different cat breeds. The event organizer said this is all about bringing together cat people from around the globe.
Just we're here as a crazy bunch of cat peoples promoting, the well-being of cats and really kind of elevating everything to do with cats. So it's just kind of a big celebratory weekend.
There will be another opportunity to check out this show tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Portland Expo Center.